Shouldn't religious people who believe in heaven be happy when someone they know die? Grief isn't about them. It's about you. The sadness comes from the fact that you wouldn't be able to talk to them for the rest of your life. Not where they are. If you had a friend who got a job promotion but is moving to another country, would you miss them? Even though you believe they are better off now? I lost my dad 2 weeks ago. As he was dying, he saw his brother on the other side. He told me that he was going to be taken care of and not to worry. I believe him. It hurts to not be able to speak with him anymore. I feel like it's important to know that it's possible to be someone is in a better place while still missing them. One can subconsciously know their loved ones are in a better place while still being sad they are gone. For comparison, it's like finding out a family member or friend is moving abroad for a great job opportunity. You can be happy for them and their happiness, but sad you will be deprived of their love and support. We are mourning our loss, not their death. I am not religious, but my great-grandparents were very devout and spiritual. They were married 67 years. And I have never known two people more steadfast in their faith. But grief is as inevitable as death, no matter how strong your faith. When my great-grandfather passed, there was a moment where my great-grandmother went up to the box with his cremains in it. And first, she laid her hand on top of it. Then, she bent over it and pressed her forehead to the wood, like she was pressing her skin to his. From the front row of my seats, I could hear her say, "I hope you're experiencing this. All of this." It occurred to me in that moment that this pious, intensely spiritual woman might have had her own tiny moment of doubt in the face of losing her life partner, her soulmate. Then the moment passed. She straightened back up and looked up to the sky like she was beseeching the heavens to take care of her husband, and went back to her seat. It's an image that stuck with me in the years since the funeral. And she was never the same afterwards. Still amazing and sharp, but there was a deep loss. And this sense that she was just waiting for the chance to be with him again. She said that she talked to him every day after he passed. But that's no substitute for being beside him, laughing with him, holding his hand with hers. She passed away earlier this year. And while I'm not sure there is an afterlife, I really like to think there is. And that they are waltzing away in their own personal, endless fairy tale. Many of us are to a degree. We mourn the temporary loss of those we love or the time, potential they lost on earth if they die young. But we gain solace and joy knowing they are happy and we will be with them again eventually. Reddit Try to Have Human Emotions Challenge. People are capable of multiple emotions. Remember the 7 stages of grieving. You can be sad you lost a loved one while being happy they aren't suffering anymore. For religious people, the belief that their loved ones are in a better place helps them cope with the death. The idea that the body died but the spirit lives on helps people accept the loss because they will meet again when their time comes. We are humans after all. Religious or not, no one knows what's really after death, and just the idea that you could never see them again can stir emotions. As a Christian, heavens, just never what I cared about. I don't concern myself with it, since it's not something terribly concrete and a little incomprehensible anyway. I don't really think about it. Here and now, though, that gets a ton of thought. And if someone I love isn't here and now, that hurts. People can be relieved they're not suffering and in an eternal place of peace, while still mourning the loss of a loved one. We're religious, but still very much human. Even with belief in the afterlife, the pain of losing someone is the pain of not being able to directly speak to the person or Interact with them. When you love a person, there's an intrinsic value in being in their company that you lose access to. There's still loss. And that loss is necessarily painful. Emo. Hey, I'm sorry for your loss if you've posted this in light of one coming from a religious family. I'm not. It gives them peace to know where they are in the afterlife. But it's still sad to know we can never talk, laugh, or experience life with them anymore. We're just humans after all. Hope this helps. Less than 3. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord. When we die, we go back to our Heavenly Father. But to also contrast this Jesus, when we here in flesh. His friend Lazarus passed away, and the shortest verse in the Bible was recorded that being Jesus wept. To me, it shows that God understands the depth of sorrow that we feel when our loved ones die. As well, if the Creator of all things can be brought to tears for a friend's passing, what hope do we as common man have not to be a wreck when we lose people close to us too? In short, we are to be happy for brothers and sisters that pass and are within the presence of God. But there is nothing like the pain of a loss. Truly bittersweet. Not all Christians teach that all good people go to heaven. In fact, in the scriptures, it never promises that people go to heaven when they die. Only those who rule with Christ as his brothers are resurrected to heavenly life. The rest are sleeping, as Jesus evidenced when he resurrected Lazarus. Otherwise, Lazarus would have been in heaven and Jesus would have yanked him out of heaven when he resurrected him. Makes no sense. Jesus compared those who are dead to sleeping. What happens when you fall asleep? You remember nothing. Unless you count remembering dreams. But I digress. Until you wake up as if no time has passed. That is how he compared those sleeping in death to those who would be resurrected. Jesus told the criminal who was hung next to him that he would remember him and said, "You will be with me in paradise." A word not associated with heaven but rather life on earth. So Jesus taught that there would be an earthly resurrection, just as he was able to raise up those who were dead back to life on earth. He will do in a grand way at the end of days. But people tend to focus on heaven because they want to believe that they are chosen to be sent there. However, no man from the Old Testament ever mentioned that prospect. Even Job said, if a man dies, can he live again on earth? So he had the earthly hope, not heavenly. Unfortunately, this was lost over the centuries because people don't read their Bible anymore, and Constantine screwed up the majority of Christian-based religions when he, at the Council of Nicaea in 325 AD, blended pagan doctrine with Christian teachings to create an unified, Holy Roman Empire, and thus a stronger kingdom, unified in beliefs that were meshed together in an unholy way. But if you read the Bible cover to cover, as I have over 70 times, you'll see that lots of these teachings are simply not found in their source. I'm a Bible historian and scholar. The Irish Wake is actually based on this belief. Though pagan rather than Roman Catholic in origin, Celtic pagans believed that you moved on to a better place when you died, and celebrated death by partying and drinking. The tradition stuck when Ireland was converted. I am a practicing Catholic and I see death as a bittersweet sort of thing. I believe in a righteous Lord, so I know that my loved one is in the right place. But it's also sad to not see them around in the earthly world anymore. It depends on what religion you are and if that religion requires you being a part of the religion upon death. I've come to the understanding that they're sad to not see them again, but pretty happy if they think they got into heaven. Lots of times in the Bible Belt, we have a homegoing celebration instead of a funeral. It's still sad sometimes. BC, you still miss the person, but rather than mourning, people try to focus on celebrating the person's life and the idea that they're in heaven. Some countries do feel happy. Remember the coffin dance?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. EgginyourShoe is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.